you a story about 3 men. Each one of those men had lost someone, and losing that someone had made them feel like they'd lost everything.
At least on this earth, we all will lose the ones we love. That is part of life.
Why me? Why did I have to be the one? Why couldn't she just have lived?
You don't want to know these things. As you say, they don't concern your country. When you go back, you'll only remember the beauty you see here, and nothing else will really be important.
Hector.
Let me tell you what happened next.
Hello?
Contact right! Get away from me! This is my decision. My time to go.
When you refer to the past lives, of course you speak of reincarnation.
Well, there you go then. Live fast, die young.
I don't think anyone ever gets over losing someone. I wish I could stay here forever, but real life beckons, I suppose.
What you need to understand about life is that life is not a puzzle to be solved. It's a mystery to be lived. What you've got to decide is, do you want to live it?
Hello, welcome to the Nielsen Ratings on Tuesday, live every Tuesday at 10 o'clock UK time, bringing to you all the best of new TV, film, theatre, sometimes other things, as well as the best of the past that you haven't seen before, or maybe you have, and you just need to watch it again, and you need reminding about how good it is. With me tonight are several of the usual suspects. We have the Inside Man.
And good evening, how are you?
I'm as good as one could be expected to be. How are you?
I'm not bad, mate. It's still a little bit warm and humid here, but, you know.
I know, I keep forgetting that you're in your tax enclave of Bermuda.
Yeah,
Someone else who's also used to being warm and sticky is Blue Collar Loser.
Yeah. I'm drinking Gatorade for a change.
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing. So many, peanut butter and jelly chicken wings. Boy, they sounded great going down. Yeah.
If you need to dive off camera at any time, we will understand. Just don't forget to mute your mic in the bathroom. We also have from Beyond the Wall.
Hello, you beautiful bastards. How are you all doing?
Fresh from the burning towns of the north. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, just scrubbling through all the rubble, to get to my laptop. But I made it.
Good. Somebody hasn't set your willy bin on fire today, I hope.
Yeah, that was the only one that didn't touch out of all the things.
Well, must have been the contents, put them off. Last but by no means least, my regular co-host, the man who looks surprisingly neat with his new choice of hairstyle. It's Stupenzolicious in the house.
What's up? I say blue collar, if you vomit, please stay on camera. Please let us see it. I want to watch. I want to see it.
I've got quite a full stomach. I'd rather not if we can.
So my British friends, how's your area right now? Is there crazy fucking riots going on in your neck of the woods? Or are you guys okay?
The whole of Britain is like Los Angeles in after Rodney King right now. So
mine's pretty calm. It's very leafy and very quiet. And yeah,
inside man's got like a sandbags and a machine gun at the front. So like nothing's happening in his area.
I have a flamethrower. Don't ask me if it's legal or not.
Right.
Cool. I mean, I don't know if we should get into that topic really, but it's not happening in London so much.
I just want to know you guys are safe.
Yeah,
we're all right.
We're fine. It's mostly in town, and for now.
Yeah, both my front and back garden have they're both mined, so just on the off chance.
Yeah, and Dale Dye's been unleashed in the moat, and he's roaming around in there with a Rambo knife. So no chance of anyone getting in. Good. Okay. Well, I'm sure that the highlights of Fox News and CBS are making everything look very flamey over here, but it's quite a few people have gone to prison already, so I'm not sure how much longer that's going to last. I mean, we could talk about two-tier policing and things like that.
Yeah,
in short, it's just complete nonsense, and that's it. We don't need to go any further.
Let's
weird.
Let's not go there. We're going to talk about fun, positive things, and boy, do I need to. So, one of the things that just to kick off, I know it's not everybody's watching it, so but one of the things Blue and I actually didn't get to talk about yesterday was the finale of House of the Dragon.
Boy,
it's been quite controversial. I understand why this is. I offered an explanation for that yesterday, which
enlighten me, please.
So, the controversy is that the show was a massive anticlimax. What we got was what should have been a very good episode 7, which was episode 8. What you had was a lot of chess pieces moving into place for a big war to come, but no actual moment of drama or tension to wrap up or to just to kind of end on a big oomph for season 2. There is a reason that this happened, and the reason is as follows, and I'm sure the inside man has probably heard similar rumblings because this was all shot in the UK. Was that when they were shooting season 2, they didn't know if they were going to get a season 3. Just as season 2 was prepping, it was announced season 3 was a green light. But the budgets for season 2 were already in place, and the budgets did not cater for as many battle scenes as have been written into the script now. So there was a big battle at the end of season 2. Everything was going to be wrapped up. The show was going to... They had a version of the show that was going to end with season 2 if required. And there was no guarantee that they were going to get a season 3. But season 3 got greenlit much, much, much earlier than expected. Because they were already filming season 2 by the time the finale of season 1 finished. They were already filming season 2, I think. And... or certainly it was all scheduled and cast and everything. So what happened was there was a massive rewrite of the script, and instead of having a weedy, wimpy battle at the end of season 2, all of that got pushed to season 3, so that season 3 is packed with lots of big battles with lots of extras and shit like that, which will be easier to film when you do them off the back of each other, because then you have several days with lots of extras and background. So what we were supposed to get at the end of season 2 wasn't what we got. So I think the general consensus of the panel yesterday was overall season 2 was good, but the finale was not good. And I still think even with the budget and rewrite considerations, they could have given us a small something. It could have been a fight between a few characters, or it could have been a a low-level ambush. There wasn't any effects left to do any more dragon shots, so it couldn't have been anything that involved dragons, for example, because they'd spent all their money, you know. But that's why we got what we got. So and Nadia came into the chat and whinged about how much she hated it, of course.
Yeah, I was on her panel, but for about 20 minutes, and her entire panel was just tearing it to shreds, Lance. But I told her, I mean, I tried being fair listening to it. I only got to say a couple minutes and had to hop onto Gooch's stream, and Enzo did X-Men, so I was bouncing all over the place.
Good God. Yeah, we talked about all 14 X-Men movies in Sunday night. Took 10 and a half hours.
11-hour stream, wasn't it, or something?
Wow.
It could have been longer, I feel like. I mean, 12 is the limit, but I mean, honestly, it's like the first 3 movies we kind of took our time because, you know, we got a lot of tangents we're doing, and once we started getting all the information about the comics and games and stuff out of the way, it was easier to kind of breeze through the other movies. But I had never seen New Mutants. I had never seen Dark Phoenix before. Dark Phoenix wasn't good. New Mutants was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I actually kind of liked it. It was a tight little scary movie with mutants. It was fun. But yeah, that's a shame about House of Dragons. I mean, I want to, you know, I saw that great meme where it's like someone like overreacting, like, oh my God, there's dragons in the show House of the Dragons. You know, is that awesome? But I just, you know, it's one of those things where everyone got shafted with Game of Thrones, and it's hard to convince me to give a shit about this new one, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I get that completely. I mean, Blue, you've seen it. What was your
my overall assessment, Lance, and I'm hoping you could probably understand this, is that I do admit out of 8 episodes, I feel like they had maybe 3, I'll be generous to say 4 episodes, and there's a lot of filler and a lot of padding. And that's a problem I had. Like we've discussed how many scenes could have been tightened up. But I agree. Like you show the trailer had some people did watch it, but the whole, hey guys, okay, this is a finale. And you and me, how many times did we theorize and guess who was going to get killed going into season 3? And now the fact that, okay, we've got 7 dragons in one team and 5 dragons. We have the naval battles. We have the whole big Damon's get the Heron Hall. I was expecting this episode was like an hour and 20 minutes long. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're about to get some kind of half-hour battle sequence. And you're like,
that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be a half hour or at least 20 minutes.
I mean, because you've seen it, Lance, remember, because the whole battle with the character Rainey's, right? During the course 8 episodes, that was the only battle sequence through the entire season. And for a almost $200 million budget, guys, we got 1 battle scene in 8 episodes. That's a letdown. I'm sorry. You know, like, you know.
I'm curious. Is this series actually based on a George R. Martin book, or is it just?
Yeah, no, it is. It's based on a single book.
Or if you want to use all of his initials, Grr Martin.
Yeah. So
So this is actually a book.
Yeah, it's Reign of Fire or whatever the fuck it's called. I can't remember now. But it's initially it was an appendices in one of the Game of Thrones books, which kind of had a big section that referred to this time period.
So this is his version of the Silmarillion, then.
Exactly. Yes. Basically what he then did was write a book about that, elaborated that appendices.
Yeah. And Lance, I mean, you know, the 3 was just covered Band of Brothers. Look at Band of Brothers pacing battles. Then Papa Masters of the Air. And you have like pacing, one battle. Like that's my issue. House of Dragon. I did like some of these characters, but like when the dragons are there, they're fantastic. Come on, guys. It's okay. Season 1's the build up. It's now we're going into season 3, and half these characters, they should be dead by now. And it's getting, man, they really padded out the friggin' time with this season. Yeah. I'm trying to be generous about it, but I can see where people are getting pissed off. And Lance, you know this, Damon, what is Damon's arc this whole season? After 8 episodes, Damon did nothing the entire fucking season, man.
Well, I mean, his plot was that basically he didn't do the things he should have done, and then he finally got his shit together. But it's like, we talked about it last night. There are issues. We had issues with a few of the scenes. The scene with the dragon riders sitting down to dinner with the queen, and that idiot Ulf character,
yeah,
acting like a complete penai.
Mhm.
I just didn't buy any of that. Well, he is in the scene, and keeps asking for more chicken wings, which is, you know, that he calls them the little birds, but he's obviously asking for chicken wings in the scene, which, you know, I guess the writers
Wait,
thought.
talking about the Cockney guy who was
Ulf.
was bragging about. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah,
his character is so two-dimensional. It's like he might as well be wearing a jester costume, you know, with bells on the end of it. So I found, okay, I get it. He's kind of being disrespectful already and all the rest of it. But I just thought that they could play some more sides to him, than just him being, you know, the self-entitled rude boy. And there was also the you know, Masseria and the Queen had a massive snog 1 or 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
In all their scenes, they're now exactly the same. There's no chemistry between them. There's no, you know, apparently, and I don't know if this is true. Apparently, the actresses came up with that idea. They suggested it.
Of course.
Right. So they went for it. Let's assume for a moment that that's true. Right. Well, number one, the director and the producer should have said, "Fuck no, it's not in the script. We haven't layered anything with that. No, we're not going to do that because this is a master-servant relationship. We haven't suggested in any way there's any romantic or physical connection between them up until now. It's going to feel very awkward. It's going to come out of nowhere. Someone should have said that. If it's true that they suggested it and somebody said it was okay, that's just a rumor. I haven't seen that from the horse's mouth. But assuming it is true, somebody definitely should have said no. That's a stupid idea. We haven't done anything with that. And you know how it is when you go and film these scenes. You'll go and film all the Masseria scenes. Would have all been shot in 2 days, right, in the same location, 2 days for the whole season. So I don't know that those scenes were shot in order. They may not have been, and it felt like the scenes that we got with her and Masseria in this episode were probably shot before the kiss one. Because if they weren't, why aren't the actresses playing on any of that tension that's now there? They give it nothing. If it was their idea, which I'm not convinced it was their idea, because these are two extremely, one of them in particular, Emma Darcy, very experienced actress. So if she made that choice, she would commit to it and she would bring elements of that in. Like, you know, maybe at some point she's kind of reaching to interlace her fingers with Masseria, but then she doesn't. You know, stuff like that, playing with little things like that. There's none of that. There's nothing.
Yeah. What's it?
I think it could have been just the actors trying to inject their sexuality into it, even though it had nothing to do with the character. Because
honestly,
does do that whole.
I mean, in real life, I don't know, nor do I care whether they're straight, gay, or what. I mean, maybe that I don't know is the answer to that. Unless I've seen it in an interview, you know, somebody saying it on a blog somewhere doesn't make it so. I don't know about that. I've heard it from one source, and I haven't had it confirmed from anyone that worked on the show that it was their idea, so they went for it. That's just what I've heard, but I haven't heard it from a source. So
yeah, I mean, I would say, Lance, overall, I still like the show, but just sometimes season 2 in certain shows wasn't that good. Season 3 could come back, be 10 out of 10, but I admit to being very let down in comparison, because season 1, I just watched season 1 with my cousin up until
season 1 is perfect. Season 1 is
every episode, every character, every dialogue. I think season 1 is a fantastic show, and I expected that kind of acting, writing quality to go into season 2. Now, won't deny this: the music and the CGI in season 2, some of the best I've ever seen in my life. The production value is 10 out of 10 easily, but the acting and the characters and so many scenes are just padded. And Lance could attest to that, where I said, if somebody made a 3-episode cut of this season, I'm sorry, I think it would come out a lot better.
Yeah. I just want to welcome James Caserta to the chat. Thank the mighty Gorak. Absolutely. Or Gorlak. We all love Gorlak, of course.
Were the same writers involved on season 1 as they were on season 2?
So we discussed this yesterday. Sarah Hess was I'm guessing was the lead writer on this episode. And she had done several episodes of season 1. She'd done 2. and one other episode of season 2. She's also a producer on the show,
Mm-hmm.
quite experienced. But she also did write an episode of not The Acolyte, the one before that, the Rosario Dawson thing. See, no one can remember the show. That's how great it was.
Oh wait, you mean Ahsoka?
Ahsoka. Yeah, she wrote an
Never
episode
watched
of
it.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
I mean, one of the criticisms that was made was that the scene with the two queens meeting up didn't have a lot of power as much as the actresses were acting their socks off in that scene, because we'd already had that scene.
Yeah, that scene felt so unnecessary. I was
Yeah,
watching it,
and
I'm like,
I did feel that we had. I felt if we were only going to have the meeting once, we should have dumped the other one when they met in the cathedral or whatever, and just had this one. Then it would have had massive meaning, because they would have been apart for the whole season.
I did like Damon seeing, but I was kind of iffy about Damon seeing a White Walker, because I thought House of Dragon would never show White Walkers, and I was why I didn't see that coming. But okay.
No, that bit I was fine. I was fine with all of that. That gave Damon a very natural arc of redemption of, like, you know, he saw it, he believed it. Fuck, he's going to bend the knee and he's going to fight by his sister's side. But fuck me, that could have happened in, or they could have saved him having weird dreams until episode 7.
Yeah,
and just done it between 7 and 8. You know.
Well, we will see. I mean, right now they're announcing we're not going to see a new season for 2 years, and for a lot of people, 2 years is a very long time between seasons.
And they've also diffused a lot of the tension narratives, because King Aegon, who was burned, who was kind of causing conflict by the fact that he's still alive, has now been removed from the castle, right?
Yeah.
So you've taken him out. You've got one of the queens has admitted her mistakes to the other queen, and is going to try and work towards a peace, and is prepared to give up the king. But that king isn't even there. So we know she's going to have to betray that promise that she's made. But that's also, you've kind of diffused the anger between the two of them. So instead of ratcheting it up, that's been diffused. And then you've got the same thing with Daemon and Queen Rhaenyra. That instead of that ratcheting up, that's been diffused, because they're now sort of on the same side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think the tension for season 3 was. There's a lot of expectation, but I don't think the tension was built very well. We should have ended on some sort of battle cliffhanger, you know, where even if a battle's just about to start and there's like a command tent scene, and you know, it ended with people charging into battle, or all dragons taking to the sky. That would have been a better ending, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
talking of major disappointments, I ignored all of your advice last week and decided to watch Those About to Die. My God, what a pile of...
I said it was all right. I said it was.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I thought it was an absolute dung heap. I thought it was terrible.
You said a dung heap?
Yeah.
I didn't say. I said to you, my take on it was forgettable.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how something with such an enormous budget could look that cheap. It looks.
Oh yeah,
so
you can
cheap.
tell that it's totally green screen on nearly every
Jesus
shot.
Christ.
Is it a case of comeback to Spartacus? All is forgiven.
Yeah, it's honestly, I don't know. It's how can I explain it? I hated it. I thought the acting was among the worst I think I've ever seen. But I'll tell you what the worst thing was, apart from the CG, the terrible direction, the awful camera work, and the bad CG. The worst thing about it was the sound mix. They did no sound mix. There was no sound mix. Everything was very flat. There was no sound mix. The all of the audio, the dialogue audio was all over the place. The music just, I mean, it just sounded like somebody had turned the knob down a little bit in order to hear some of the dialogue. There was no, I don't know, there's no kind of mix whatsoever. It sounded
the music
dreadful.
is a bit obnoxious. It's just like dum 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 dum.
Yeah, and I thought
constantly in the background all the time.
Anthony Hopkins Anthony Hopkins, right? I mean, I love Anthony Hopkins. I
He was
absolutely
wasted in it.
adore it. Oh my! Not only was he wasted, he was terrible in it. He was
Well, I mean, his
absolutely
dialogue
terrible.
was so perfunctory.
Oh,
It was
oh, and
just
that scene where he's sitting with Domitian and Titus in the Circus Maximus, and he's kind of trying to stop them from quarreling. And the dialogue is terrible. I mean, it's terrible. So wanted to enjoy it. I really, really wanted to enjoy it. And yeah, Spartacus at its worst pisses on it.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say I said so, but I did say to everyone. So I went to Rome and I went to this thing where you go and see a 3D Rome experience and it gives you the history of the city. And I said the effect shots looked like they were lifted out of that video, and I went to see that in 2014. So
yeah. It's I thought it was. I mean, this is only my opinion. I'm sure there are people that will absolutely love it because it's based on a famous, intellectual property, a famous book. And you
I
do
don't
have
think I
some.
hated it as much as you did, but there is a lot of fucking problems, and the characters are not that interesting. I mean, the guy who played Ramsay in Game of Thrones, I did like him in it. He's the best thing in it.
I just
mean,
thought
there were some people in it that I thought were fine, but I agree. It's sort of when you consider that they had the Cinecittà set, which is an amazing set of Rome.
Yes, it is.
You know, this isn't even using that set. Well, I mean, they may be in the set, they may be on the flagstones for that set, but that's basically a green screen shot behind them in this.
But my God, the Circus Maximus. I mean, I never thought that a chariot race could look so fucking boring.
Did you not like the bit where the crocodile took the guy's head off? I thought that was quite entertaining.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It just.
There you go.
Yeah, honestly, I'd rather eat a broken glass sandwich than watch it again. It's terrible.
Well, good news, Inside Man. We'll be doing a detailed 9-hour breakdown of this. No, I'll let Enzo do that.
Broken glass sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, well, Northern, did you? I don't think you'd watched it when we'd watched it. What would you give it out of 10?
I've still not finished it. I've just been fucking watching something else. I mean, I watched that Spent that you mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, what did you make of it? Curious to hear your view.
It started off all right, despite a bit of box ticking, but in the end, I just really hated the main character. She sticks by a bunch of guys that abuse kids, and exploit them, and but as soon as something comes in it for her, she'll happily roll over on them, and it's like, no, sorry, you don't just do that. You don't roll over on nonsense just because they owe you a paycheck. You roll on them because it's the right thing to do. They're abusing kids, and she's a narcissist. She's kind of a narcissist.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, this is a 6-part, half-hour comedy show. Michelle de Suarte, I think you pronounce her surname, and if I've got that wrong, I do apologize.
Yeah, and she looks like she does have potential to be a good comedy actress. I think she has been on a lot already, but
yeah, if you watch her stand-up, she's actually really funny.
Typical BBC shit, though. A lot of box ticking and a lot of narcissism being enabled, for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
enabling of narcissistic behaviour.
The reason I wanted you, I felt quite conflicted over it because I thought, okay, the lead is quite talented. There's some good writing here. There's some good acting here. Some of the supporting actors are very good. I particularly like the guy who played her dad.
Yeah, he was good. He was a good actor, even though his character's a bit of an arsehole, but he's a good actor. He does play it well.
I was trying to sort of find the redeeming qualities in her, and they were quite few and far between, and I wasn't sure that there was enough for me to really care what happened to her. The basic plot, for anyone who hasn't seen it, is Michelle de Suarte plays a one-time successful model who relocated to New York, had a tremendous spending habit, realizes that she's bankrupt, comes back to the UK to try and continue her career there, is effectively homeless, has a mother who's got mental health issues, who's now the mother to a local girl who's now taken her room, so she can't go back to her house. Her ex-girlfriend is about to get married to another girl, so there's a whole, plot storyline there. That didn't feel too forced. That was fine, but I mean, she doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities, and it is all about her at the end of the day. And also I felt that the white male love interest was portrayed rather. I didn't believe. I didn't believe him. I didn't believe.
Yeah, he comes across way too much like an autistic, sort of like a really severe autistic guy, not a mild autistic guy.
Yeah, it was like she was dating Rain Man from the, Dustin Hoffman from. So that I had an issue with.
Counting cards.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched the whole thing. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. There is a lot going for it, and she is very talented, very talented.
Yeah, there was a moment where I thought she was redeeming herself when she was taking care of the girl while the mum was in the mental.
Yeah, while the mother's in the
and it just goes right out the window as well with the whole nonce thing again.
And then there was the whole thing about the kids ask if it's okay for them to have balloons at the party.
Yeah, I know.
And
is she thick or something?
And she thought they meant actual balloons, and the kids were referring to drug balloons. And the social worker comes and realizes that because she's already a drug addict, I didn't buy the fact that she wouldn't know that, even if she's been living in America. I just didn't buy it. It's like one of those scenes on EastEnders where it's like, I've got to tell you something really important, Jan. Oh, no, I can't. I've got to go and do the thing. Yeah, but it's really important. I've got to tell you now. Yeah, I can't do it now, mate. I've got to go. And, the number of times they've used that as a plot point to suspend drama for the next episode.
Yeah, when the person could just say it out loud. Just say it. Stop messing about.
I need to tell you, Marge is having an affair with Dan. Sort of thing. Yeah, you're not supposed to say that for another 3 episodes, mate. But I can say it now so easily. No, you can't. You mustn't. Yeah, there were moments in it that were a bit like that. But I'd like to see it do more stuff. But I'd like to see this character's obviously very close to home. It's very autobiographical. The show. I'd like to see her do something completely different. But thanks for watching it. What do you give it out of 10, mate?
5 out of 10. There's a lot of things that could have been easily fixed here, but I just don't think you had the good writers who had the common sense to try and fix this and make it work and make her character a little bit more likable.
She wrote every episode.
Did she?
The lead.
She should have had a few people give her a bit more advice here.
So she's trying to be the next Phoebe Waller-Bridge then?
I don't know. I suspect it was more a case of she wanted it to be truthful to her experience, and if she felt she'd been a bad person, she was going to show herself up to be that way, which is fine.
This is on the BBC, is it? You say?
Yeah.
They obviously have a bit of a problem with truthfulness as well. So
well, that's true.
I think it was kind of, I think it's kind of wasted on the BBC. Maybe this should have gone to somewhere like Netflix or.
Yeah, I think it would have gone down better on Netflix. Actually,
yeah,
I agree. I mean, it's not a million miles away from Richard Gadd's show. This one, it's got lots.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still kind of conflicted on that. It's really good, but at the same time, I'm thinking, is this guy just a weak idiot as well? Because he's gone through a lot of bad stuff, but he's kind of enabling it as well, though. Yeah,
I mean, we could do a whole show about that, about how he kept going back to his abuser and things like that. But but there is some similar stuff. Between this, and that's one of the reasons I wanted you to watch it, because I knew you'd seen that one. Anyway, Spent is available on BBC iPlayer. Give the first episode a go. It might be for you, it might not, but check out the first one and see what you think about it.
Yeah, it's an easy binge. It's an easy binge. Thank God for that.
In the meantime, my main co-host, fresh from his 11-hour Super X-Men stream, has got an amazing film he wants to recommend to us.
I wouldn't say it was amazing, but it was definitely pretty wild. Yeah, usually Lance gives me an idea for what he wants for the thumbnail, and this time I kind of, it was the middle of the night, knew Lance was awake, so I just wanted to make something, and I watched Harmony Korine's new movie. I don't even know if it's a movie. This is like Harmony Korine thinking about what comes after movies.
What's it called?
It's called Aggro Drift. And it's spelled drift like with the number 1, like DR1FT. Aggro Drift.
I got it.
This was a wild ass movie. Granted, I recommend like being like really high when you watch it. You probably like it a lot more. But it was first of all, the whole movie's filmed in like infrared cameras that the guy got from NASA.
Never take drugs.
And it's a very you know, dreamlike surreal experience about like an assassin who basically is like, I mean, metaphorically there's a lot going on about you know, becoming the devil to save your family. You know, you got to protect your family from the evil out there and do a lot to provide for them. But basically, yeah, this assassin has he's like the world's greatest assassin living in this weird infrared dreamlike dreamscape world. And there's a bunch of criminals everywhere and people he's got to kill. And the whole movie's like, you know, him narrating it and a lot of like repetitive music, repetitive dialogue. Like it's almost like mantras, you know, like being it's very strange, like incantations almost. And yeah, this rapper right here, what's his name? He's like one of the only other speaking roles in the movie. Yeah, it's not so much of a plot as much as it is like an experience, a mood. It's, like I said, it's just very surreal and dreamlike, and there's a lot going on. It's one of those movies where, like they said at Venice Film Festival, like, yeah, a bunch of people walked out, but also it got a standing ovation. So it's like, you know, who knows, you know, what you're going to think about it. But above all, it was very bold and experimental, and haven't seen anything like it before, you know. It was very like subdued, but also like very violent and visceral. But because everything looks like this, I mean, it's like the whole movie is a visual treat. It's very it's out there, to say the least. Harmony Korine with his new Edgelord Film Productions is what it's called. Edgelord with no vowels. EDGLRD. But yeah, I mean, the movie is just it's definitely worth a watch late at night after you toked on a bong bowl or something. I think you'll like it. Or you'll hate it and be like, why'd you recommend that to me? But at least it's only like 80 minutes long. So, you know, there's that. It's got that going for it. And yeah, the music is by this producer who I've never heard of, who apparently is a thing. He's a big deal. His name is Arab Music. Like, I don't know. And the music's just very weird. It kind of reminded me of, if you guys have played Far Cry Blood Dragon or whatever it was called. Yeah. That game. That's very much what the vibe is. It just reminded me of that. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. It's almost like synth wave, like vaporwave kind of vibe. Very crazy, very wild movie.
You could argue this is a Predator movie seen from the Predator's helmet.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, as far as like, you know, the analysis of the movie, there's a lot going on. Like, for instance, like he's got a couple kids, right? And he tells he narrates the movie. He's like, you know, my kids can never know what I do. My kids can never be exposed to the evil in the world. They're angels, you know, they must be kept pure because like they're the next generation. The world is theirs, you know, after ours and all this stuff. And he's got this wife that's like this like big booty Latina who's like constantly like twerking for him and like,
what?
Oh, yeah, dude, it's insane. I miss you so much. Please don't leave. Like, let me convince you to stay. You know, all this kind of crazy crap, dude. And he's like, no, I have to go make money. You know, it's just like, go over here, you know, kill this guy with like a choke rope. But then, yeah, I mean, there's like this like demonic presence, you know, it's like whenever he's like doing a mission, like you'll see this big, like giant, like demon, like transposed in the sky, like kind of mimicking his movements, you know, like he is like the devil basically. And And then like the big bad guy, he's like the evil head guy that he has to kill at the end, but he's like portrayed, he's got these like angelic wings and a sword, but like he's obviously evil. It's just a weird movie, man. It was very out there, and I want to watch it again, honestly.
I found a picture of the woman who plays his girlfriend. Apparently it's this lady.
Let's see. Yeah.
Chania Middleton. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a fake butt if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and I look at the shape and that, the way it just droops down a little bit by the leg and then rounds up to the. It's just
the BBL, the Brazilian butt lift, is what it's called. I didn't realize it was fake in the movie. In the movie, you're too. I guess you're too distracted by, and she doesn't get naked per se. There's no like real nudity. It's like she's wearing like a tight tube dress and she's like just shaking that thing. But yeah, the movie is apparently it's got like rap music video vibes all over it. In fact, I heard another place that Harmony Korine was premiering the movie was in various like strip clubs. And it's like when you hear that, you're like, honestly, it sounds fitting. The movie was, like I said, it's like I said, Harmony Korine is like conceptualizing what to do, what comes after movies. You know, what are we gonna? You know, movies are. You know, I'm not gonna say movies are on the way out, but there's other things to do besides just movies and streaming shows. And like I said, I wouldn't really, it's not a coherent film. The main character's worldview is very self-righteous and kind of flawed. The world movie just kind of contorts itself. It's one of those movies where it's not really a plot as much as it is like a visual kind of splendor, and just a wild tone. It was weird. It's very brazen and bold. And like I said, it's a little messy, but I mean, props to Harmony Korine he's always doing something new with his movies.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it probably a 5 out of 10, but if you're really, really high, 8 out of 10. You love it.
I hear you. Northern, what you got for us?
Well, I have just recently watched the first 2 episodes of Batman: The Caped Crusader, and yeah, I really do not like it. Batman is barely in it, and we barely get to know him. Okay, we see him do a bit of detective work, a bit of fighting, the Bruce Wayne Playboy, but we're barely giving him any scenes where we get to know him. And he gets sidestepped for the female characters, Barbara Gordon, who's black, but also a redhead, which once again makes no bloody sense. Why do these bloody modern day TV programs or movies do this crap? It makes no sense. And it's set in the 30s, yet we've got a black commissioner, we've got black lawyers, and it's very box ticky. It is. And Harvey Dent's a fucking arsehole in this before he becomes Two-Face. It makes no sense. The reason why Harvey Dent was such a great villain was because he was this very honourable, altruistic guy who was very honest, and the fact that he had this big downfall after this very traumatizing accident made his fall from grace even more heartbreaking to see. And by the time he becomes Two-Face, I'm going to be like, I don't care. He's an arsehole. He's just going to become another arsehole, an even bigger arsehole. It's a big clusterfuck. 2 episodes in, I hate it already, and I may have to watch it even more because I really need to fucking do a video on this. This is a complete disaster, and it totally shits all over everything that made The Dark Knight such a compelling character with a very compelling lore.
It's scoring reasonably high on IMDb at the moment.
Yeah, I don't trust IMDb. Look for the audience scores.
Well, it's not like tomatoes, but I mean, let's have a look at some of the user reviews. Disappointed by the animation. Skip the first episode. I'll be honest, I was turned off by the first episode, this person says. Wanted to like it, but Northern told me I couldn't. Dark Knight Strikes Again, excellent sort of sequel, great classic take on Batman, watchable but not as good as Batman TAS, uninspiring and heartless. Doesn't even come close to 1% of the greatness of Batman TAS.
I'm wondering how much they're getting paid to write these reviews.
I never trust a 10 out of 10 unless it's like super long. So let's have a look. See, this is a genuine reviewer because they've written quite a few. Unless when you read through them, all of them are absolutely amazing, in which case you kind of just know they're a shill. But that's a well-earned title. The Descent, one of the best horror movies of the 2000s.
Honestly, stick to 1993's Batman the Animated Series. It gets the lore and the original source material so bloody bang on. And this was back in this was 30 years ago. Seriously, that's basically the blueprint of how to do a good Batman film or a good Batman TV show.
Okay.
Luke mentioned Rotten Tomatoes. Actually, Rotten Tomatoes for Batman, critics 97, audience 60. So
okay,
I'd rate it lower than 60. Jesus Christ!
Some people like
too
it.
generous.
What would you give it out of 10? Thus far,
1 shit finger out of 10.
Right.
Yesterday I was on Cannoli's Iron Giant stream, and I realized it was the first time ever on one of these movie streams I gave a movie a 10 out of 10. The Iron Giant.
Oh, Cannoli did Iron Giant. Yes, I love that movie, man.
I have not watched that enough. I need to watch it more.
10 out of 10. It's a perfect movie.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I love the ending where you see all the bits.
Yeah, no following by Michael Kamen. The soundtrack, the score, it's so amazing. That track. Go listen to it on YouTube like after the show and just like feel the emotion.
Is it me or is Vin Diesel a much better actor when he's going?
Yeah, we were talking about how Groot and Iron Giant are his best roles.
When he doesn't speak, he's amazing.
Or show his face.
When he barely speaks doing the voice work, he's great. That's weird. That should not happen, but somehow he pulls it off.
Well,
he does have a deep, gravelly, robot-sounding voice, so that's cool.
We'll mention the Iron Giant as we brought it up. I keep forgetting it was directed by Brad Bird as well.
Yeah, the guy's
great
goated,
film.
in my opinion.
Always loved the retro look of the giant, sort of big throwback.
Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Astounding Stories magazine, that kind of thing. Yeah, really great. I better mute my phone before someone rings. So,
it's a young Wes Kelly.
Is that young? Is it?
It's a young Lord Toxic.
It does look a bit. Could almost look like Lord Toxic.
And then we were saying how Kamala's new VP pick looks like old Lord Toxic.
That's entirely possible.
Interesting.
I would give Iron Giant 9 out of 10 from when I last saw it. It may well be a 10. But yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Anybody else want to just give it a rating quickly?
Yeah, I mean, personally, it's one of my favorite films. Well, certainly one of my favorite animated movies. It's, I think it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. A 10 is, it's an easy one, really.
All right. Anyone else?
I agree. Nothing more to say.
Yeah, it's been a while.
There is something more to say. You can give it a rating.
Good 9 out of 10. It's really well done from what I remember, anyway.
Oh, it's definitely 10. Lance, hands down, start to finish.
Thank you. It's called the Nielsen ratings, so we have to give it a rating.
Right.
Inside Man, I know you're just dying to tell us about Superfly 5, so let's get into it.
Well, I'm actually going to start with a blaxploitation movie that I watched. It's Ralph Bakshi's Coonskin.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a movie.
What a movie.
It's,
it's on YouTube, but apparently it's like a censored version now, sadly.
Oh, right, okay. But yeah, it's really good. I think it's his best movie so far.
I keep forgetting that Ralph Bakshi directed The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat.
Yeah.
Which used to, like in the 80s, that would sit in the porn section.
Yeah, you're right. It would. Yeah. But I mean, this is.
Although I overlooked in there, of course.
But this actually starts off. It's kind of like the start of a jailbreak, if you like, and Scatman Crothers' character He starts telling this story about these three brothers, Brother Rabbit, Brother Bear, and Brother Fox, and they all go to Harlem. And of course, it's a little bit of a den of iniquity. It's it's a real slum. When they get there, there's a lot of police corruption. Parts of it are run by the mafia, and there's this sanctimonious reverend. They kind of imply that he's taking money for some kind of civil rights type organization. Gets exposed for basically conning people out of their money. But it's very much a reflection of the time when Ralph Bakshi lived in Washington D.C. and it's the way the city was segregated at that time. I mean, he came over, him and his family escaped Nazi Germany, and he was appalled by the fact that Washington D.C. still had segregation.
Right.
And that was his inspiration for it. But it's also it's not quite anti-American, but it kind of is. But I mean, it's a great film. It's a terrific film. Another one of my favorite animated movies, but it's got a combination of live action in there. Philip Michael Thomas plays one of the lead characters, so you've got a combination of live action, still photography, and animation. And there are about 3 or 4 different styles of animation. So you got something that's slightly Disney-esque at one point, and then sort of frizz-freeling, and then it. Yeah, so it kind of jumps about. So you've obviously got different animators and different animator styles, but it's not so much a parody of Song of the South or the Uncle Remus tales. It's a kind of a retelling of the Uncle Remus tales, but it pisses on Song of the South. I mean, it's absolute pony in my book, but yeah, it's really good, really good. And I would recommend it to anybody. And I think it's a really important film as well. I think it's a really important cultural film. Strangely, I mean, there were protests outside of cinemas, and people were sort of, smoke bombs and everything in the cinemas, trying to, get everyone out. But it was a movie that was endorsed by Malcolm X, and
Right.
it said
Because I was wondering, what would be the response of the African American community to it?
Very, very, very good, actually. I mean, some people, some members of the black community in America didn't quite get it. There was this, oh God, so look at how we're being depicted. It's really racist, and how could these black actors have, performed in this, as these characters, and then there was the other side, and they said, well, hang about a minute, you've got to really, really watch it. And Malcolm X endorsed it, and he said that it's a must watch for anybody who, well, in particular the Black Panthers. He insisted that the Black Panthers actually watch this, that all members of the Black Panthers watch it. But it is a very, very good film.
That shot there, that's very Ralph Bakshi, that shot. He's got a shot like that in every one of his movies, with that downward angle.
Yeah.
Have you seen it as well, Enzo?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I love this one. This is definitely one of the more I guess, like you said, kind of like political. One of these movies you kind of have to watch to, there's message and meaning. But my favorite Ralph Bakshi movie was always American Pop. That's my favorite, just because of my music background. But yeah, this one's definitely more edgy. This one's got I
mean, actually starts off the character. Character kind of goes up to the camera and just says, "Fuck you," and that's the opening line. That's the opening line of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
American Pop felt like Bakshi trying to do like a Disney movie, and it's still like rated R and everything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's got that that Norman Rockwell kind of Americana vibe, realistic drawings and rotoscoped characters and everything. But But yeah, Coonskin and what was the other real crazy one?
Wizard.
No, yeah, Wizards and Fire and Ice are fun.
Yeah,
but the ones that were more political that he did were oh god, what's the other one?
Yeah, because no one talks about this film now. I do remember it, but this is the first I recall it at all because you've mentioned it. It would have been consigned to the memory.
Heavy Traffic is the one I'm thinking of. Also, Heavy Traffic and Coonskin are both real. Yeah, I mean they were edgy for the time, but now they're probably pretty tame when you think about it. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. I mean I saw this, way back on a pirate video, and watching it again now, I thought, fuck, this is really pretty good.
Yeah, I mean back then I think it was more like shocking to see it, and now you realize like this is a real smart movie. This is like real
smart, very smart. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a very young Philip Michael Thomas as well.
Yeah, Philip Michael Thomas. Yeah, Philip Michael Thomas and Scatman Crothers is also, always great, isn't he? Scatman Crothers.
Inside Man, I feel this image here should be your avatar. This guy.
Have you seen Philip Michael Thomas recently? He's like a psychic now or something. He's on a right big long beard. He's wearing all these like.
Are you talking about the guy from Miami Vice?
Yes.
He was always a bit strange, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he tried to do like EGOT, didn't he? He wants to try and get an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony all at once. And he never quite achieved that, though, did he?
I always thought he had a great look in the 80s. I thought he looked amazing in the 80s.
Yeah, he looked amazing, but I heard he was like extremely difficult to work with. Got a bit of a reputation on the set of Miami.
Yeah, it does sound like he might have had a bit of an ego, but
just a bit, just a bit.
A lot of an ego.
Yeah, I totally forgot he did this movie.
But he's cool though. He's cool in Miami Vice. I'll give him that. He's not the best actor, but he was kind of cool though.
Blue Collar, here's your avatar. No, not feeling that one.
Yeah, honestly, he would look more like the other one you said belonged to Luke. I was like, no, that looks more like Blue.
What would you give it out of 10?
Definitely an 8.
Wow,
yeah,
look,
I was really
Scooby-Doo's been cast in the role on the right here.
I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed it again.
Right.
Yeah. So so an 8, I would say.
I need to track down a uncut version of it. What's your second movie? You got another one?
Well, I got a couple. I got a giallo, which is What Have You Done to Solange? It's set in a Catholic girls' high school, which is which is always good. And
how could this discussion go wrong?
And one of the professors, one of the teachers, is having a little bit of a fling with one of the pupils, and they're on this river or lake, and they're sort of canoodling, to put it politely. And from the boat, they see something, the kind of a flash of a blade or something, sort of in the woods on the riverbank, and they think that they might have just witnessed a murder. And of course, he can't say anything because he'll have to admit that he was in the boat with the girl, and the girl can't say anything. His wife is also a teacher at the school. But it's a pretty shocking film, actually. It's a dirty, quite sleazy, nasty film. But the kills are really shocking, really, really shocking. You don't see anything, but you know what they do, what the person's doing. So it's kind of it's not just a whodunit, it's kind of a whodunit as well.
Right.
So there's a big reason for the killings happening, and the girls that are being slain. Let's just say, let's just say they get a very big gash from this knife.
Okay.
So I think you can you get where I'm coming from. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty horrific, and there's one of the most disturbing drowning sequences in there as well that I think you're ever likely to see. It's pretty
your
shocking.
lead actor in this who is Fabio Testi.
Yep.
Interesting surname.
Testi.
Testi, yeah. There he is on the right with beard. He is still alive.
Oh,
Born in 41, but he's still around, still going. And I was thinking, I've seen him in a movie. What movie have I seen him in? And looking through his credits, he did some episodes of The Falcon and the Dove. I vaguely remember that, but it's not that. But he did a movie with, I think it was with Robert Mitchum, and that was some kind of Italian action B picture. Don't know if that sounds familiar, Inside Man, but I think
are you sure it wasn't with what's his name? Oh no, Ernest Borgnine.
possibly with what's his name, but maybe with Robert Mitchum.
No, I think it was with. Oh, for the life of me, I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Curly in the fucking Billy Crystal movie, and I can't even remember the name of the movie.
Oh, Jack Palance.
Jack Palance. Yeah, but Jack Palance. I think it might. Are you sure? All right.
Yeah,
okay.
I am sure because I'm watching the trailer for the film in question right now, and Robert Mitchum's in the trailer.
All right, forget I spoke.
That's how sure I am. Donald Pleasance is also in the movie.
Oh yeah, the man who hasn't blinked since 1972.
Is that the one?
Mm.
It's a Canon film, actually.
Is it?
So Fabio Testi did a Canon film that
that figures.
Robert Mitchum was in, Donald Pleasance was in, and I definitely saw this, but I haven't got the title, hasn't come up on the trailer, but I remember this movie, and Fabio Testi sort of plays one of the kind of key bad guys in it, sort of, and it's a very much a Canon product. Oh, The Ambassador. There you go.
Right.
The Ambassador. I think that came out probably around 87 or something like that.
But yeah, so what have you done to Solange? I mean, it's there's lots of titties in it, and female full frontal nudity, and and lots of really brutal killings, and
that's a pretty horrendous shot. That guy looks like he could be about to take a wee.
Very much a family film.
Yeah, apart from that. Oh my god. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but one of the best yellow movies that you're ever likely to see.
That's the great thing with you on Inside Man. We never know what we're going to get.
It's a grab bag.
It is indeed. Blue, you got something else you want to recommend?
Not sure recommend, but the film Trap with Josh Hartnett, M. Night Shyamalan, his newest film.
Let's talk about that movie.
Oh yeah.
Nadia didn't like it. She was really disappointed by it.
Getting the impression she doesn't like much, but
seems like it.
But I do like Nadia. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Josh Hartnett goes to a concert with his daughter to see her favorite pop idol or whatever.
Lady Raven, she's called.
Yeah, the police have heard that the serial killer that they're after is going to be at the concert.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch the trailer, I'm saying a spoiler now, so feel free to mute me if you want. But if you've seen the trailer, you'll already be aware of this, that Hartnett is actually the serial killer that they're looking for. I like that idea. I didn't like finding out that idea when I saw the trailer, and then I thought,
no.
I'd rather find this out in the film. This is like a massive spoiler that's key. Would have been so much better if I'd found out that twist when I watched the movie.
What a twist! I revealed the twist early. That's my twist.
Yeah, I mean, is there another twist at the end?
No, I mean it's not even my sport. No, it's a straightforward film.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
once that twist is revealed, that's that. Then we're on. That's the film.
And not even for nothing. Like within the first 10 minutes, you already know the setup. Which it's the trailer in the first 10 minutes tells you everything you need to know. It's like
right.
Him and his kid go to a concert. Within minutes, he's looking around like, man, security seems kind of tight around here. And actually, he's starting to notice more cops, more FBI agents, and the reveal is pretty quick. So they waste no time building up. You just go right into it.
I mean, it's a good idea. I like the idea of a serial killer on his day off being a dad with his daughter is kind of caught in a police trap. As a concept, that's great. Does it deliver?
I would say no. I would say the concept really right there. Josh Hartnett is fantastic. He makes the film watchable, and he's the best part of the film.
He's a great actor.
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter plays the character called Lady Raven, and I'm not sure. It's like she's in a different movie than he's in. That's actually her on the right there, Lance. That's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Yeah.
It feels like Josh Hartnett's in Silence of the Lamb, and M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is in a Tommy Wiseau movie.
That should be perfect. That should be perfect. M. Night Shyamalan movie, that.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not sure how to rate that because it's like everyone but Josh Hartnett, they're in a different film. That's why it's weird. I'm not sure. Like, it's why I was like, at least give it a watch.
Your bow tie kid, but don't let them choose your next suit.
Yeah.
So there's a varied level of acting, is what you're saying. From
Definitely, 100%.
Good to shit.
But he is worth watching. So, and because he's never really played. Has he ever played a bad guy?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I can't think
He's
of
kind of played. I think he kind of was in Sin City. He's kind of like this very smooth talking hitman.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Enzo? Have you seen this?
No, not Trap. No.
I'm meaning to watch it.
I damn sure would like to hear Enzo's thoughts because Enzo loves horror films more than I do.
Traps are gay.
It's not a horror film neither. I mean, honestly, like you're not going to see like a lot of. It's PG-13,
suspense thriller kind of thing.
100%, yeah.
How many premiere photos do we need up here? Can we have more pictures of the movie, please?
I feel like some of these guys just make movies so they can do these stupid red carpet parties. Like the movie's just an excuse to have the party. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
So I guess his daughter does actually sing, because she looks like she's singing and playing.
Yeah, and if that's her voice, I mean, she's got a very lovely voice. Won't debate that. It's a hard sell, but Slants, because I know you and Gail, you and Inside Man are older than us and stuff. I'm like, well, some of her scenes, do you think pop stars are this stupid? I'm like, then again, you ever seen Taylor Swift and Nicki Minaj and any pop star talk in an interview in the past 5 years? So I'm like, maybe M. Night Shyamalan's onto something, because any pop star that came out the past year alone, every time they talk, I'm like, oh God. So maybe he's right.
Yeah.
Who's the girl on the right here? Oh, is that another one of his daughters? Ishana.
He's got so many.
Okay. She looked really similar to somebody I worked with at one point. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's her. Well, okay. You're not selling it to me.
Like I said, I would be curious to hear you guys when it comes to like whatever, iTunes or something, or eventually Netflix, give it a watch then. But in terms of money, I would not recommend spending money on it.
Christ, how many premiere photos do we need? Like, there's 169 photos on here. There must be like 5 of the film. Is that it?
That's probably so M. Night Shyamalan can say, look, everyone's smiling at the premiere of my movie.
Yeah.
So they must
love
have loved
me.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys don't know what I think the idea right there. I think the whole the whole concept is better than the execution. But in the first hour is actually pretty intriguing. But boy, the third act just falls apart.
Right. Yeah, on the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this concept's good," but I'm not sure I want this information on the trailer.
I guess minor spoil. It's not a big spoiler. Minor spoilers. The whole like him being inside this concert. That's not the entire film, and that's so that if that had been the entire movie, may have gotten a better film. Those parts.
Let me put this question to you. I haven't seen it. You've seen it. If the movie had been played like this, that everybody's kind of deliberately kept inside the concert. The police are trying to find out who it is. It's played that he finds out what's going on. He's a stressed father.
Yes.
And it's played until the last 15 minutes that he is just a stressed dad who doesn't want his daughter to be caught in the middle of a shitload of things going down. So he's trying to get himself and his daughter out. And if they'd done the twist in the last 15 minutes, well, actually, this guy is the serial killer. This is the guy they're looking for. Would that made it a more effective movie?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because we even take away the trailer, the whole, like I said, it's like you know it's him within the first 9 minutes. Not
Kind
even.
of what I was thinking. I was like, this is a great idea. Why are you letting the cat out of the bag so early on? What's up with
I think it was probably because everyone, an M. Night film really sits there now and looks for the twist. And by the time we'd get to the final 15 minutes, we'd know that it's actually him, or the final
Like
20 minutes, we'd
100%.
know that it's him.
Yeah, if they would have had, if this would have had the entire first and second act, it used audience member guessing if he's actually really him. In the last 15 minutes, oh shit, he really is guilty. That would have been like, it's the whole setup is imagine the first and second act is like trying to believe that the cops got the wrong guy. At the very end, it's actually him, and his daughter finds out like, oh god, Dad, you're a freaking monster. That would have been a better film.
Yeah. Does he get away with it and kill everyone? That would have been good.
We'll find out. No, the third act falls apart. I'm like,
I don't think I've watched his last two movies. I didn't see the one about the woman in the pool or whatever it was called.
But yeah, even people didn't like it. Nadia or like Jeremy John said, but give it credit. Josh Hartnett, he's worth watching.
I do like him.
He seems to be making a bit of a comeback recently, doesn't he?
He's not like Anthony Hopkins. He's not. No one can ever be Hannibal Lecter, but he does a very good job of smiling and being a great dad. And then the next scene goes into like this guy that will butcher your kids, and he does a very good job of being very subtle. His tics, his mannerisms. He's said, I hope he gets better work after this.
Yeah, he's very underrated. I mean, I think he was very charming in Sin City, despite the fact he had these very short scenes.
I've always rated him, and I think if you go onto his IMDb, you will see that he has never stopped working, and he's done a shitload of theatre as well. Because I saw him play the Tom Cruise role in Rain Man in London's West End with Adam Godley, who's a British actor who played the Dustin Hoffman role. But you can see through his credits, if you just look, he's never stopped working pretty much.
Damn,
so
must have been very not marketed very well, because I have not heard of these movies.
There's a gap here in 2013, and that is actually when I saw him on stage. Well, Penny Dreadful's a massive show. I mean, I personally haven't bought into it, but it's got a massive following. Drunk History's got a massive following. Don't know about Paradise Lost. Die Hard. But Ruse de Guerre, he's great in that.
Yeah, it's an average movie, but he does do it pretty well. He does like playing this very
the scenes with him and Hugh Grant are just brilliant, man. They're just the best. I just love it. Danny, do you want the car? That sounds like Wes doing a British accent. Yeah. So okay, what would you give the movie out of 10, man?
Man, I'll say a 4. That's a generous 4. Just only because of Josh Hartnett. That's why I said I would tell all you guys, Enzo, just watch it once to see his performance, but don't have high expectations. But I liked him. He's a great actor. The poor guy, you have a good actor in a bad movie.
It depends. What else you got, mate?
I rewatched based on what Luke said, I did rewatch Old School, but I also rewatched Observe and Report with Seth Rogen.
Damn,
I've heard that's pretty good. That one.
That might be his best movie.
What
is that? Observe
the School High. Yeah.
Observe and Report. Yeah, man.
He actually lost a ton of weight for that film too.
What a dark and twisted. Oh, it's funny because he's still fat in that movie too.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he lost like 35, 40 pounds just for that movie. And you can tell comparison to other movies, but
yeah, that was a very funny ass movie. You know, I've seen it before. Obviously, Anna Faris, she's hilarious in that movie. Ray Liotta's great as well in that movie. And then Seth Rogen's drunk mom is also funny. Oh, yeah. And yeah, you've also got a young Jesse Plemons, who I forgot was in the movie. He's like the snack bar guy or whatever. He works at one of the one of the mall kiosks, and they recruit him to be one of the security guards. You got the 2 Asian security guards, the twins. In case one of you dies, I got a backup, you know. But yeah, he's basically a mentally ill, deranged, delusions of grandeur security mall cop who really wants to be a police officer, but due to his unhingedness, he's not really fit for police work. But he's got to solve a case, and the case is there's a streaker running around the mall parking lot, exposing himself to women when they're, coming out of the mall with their shopping bags. And he opens up a trench coat and shows his weird pig dick to people. And that's the whole movie. And it's very, very funny. There's obviously a lot of twists and turns. It's directed by the guy who did Eastward and Bound, all those Danny McBride shows, Righteous Gemstones. Jody, I think his name is Jody something or other. I can't remember. But the perfect, it felt kind of, even though it's an early 2000s comedy, it was still kind of had that 90s comedy vibe. Like it was raunchy and edgy and kind of grimy, but very funny, and also had some heart to it, had some sweetness to it. It wasn't all disgusting. But yeah, there's like
you say that while fucking on the cocaine show.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's also one of Seth Rogen's like only roles where he isn't like, stoner guy,
right?
Like he takes pharmaceutical pills that are, he takes prescription drugs in this movie that are like prescribed to him because of his unbalancedness. But yeah, I mean, I would say this is like looking back, like, of all the movies he's done since then, this is still like him kind of this is the farthest from his typecast that you ever see him do. Like he really is like a straight edge kind of authority guy. He likes the law. He likes the rules. He's one of those guys, could have been in the military, could have been a cop. But instead he's a mall security guard. He takes his job way too seriously. So very, very, very funny, very, very adult film, not for kids, or maybe really cool kids. But yeah, Anna Faris is like the drunk cosmetic girl who works at the cosmetic store, and she's just kind of like a hoe bag. And Seth Rogen's like in love with her. It's so stupid. The best part is like, he convinces her to go to dinner with him. And, she's like doing shots. And she's kind of bored by him. And then he pulls out his pharmacy, his prescription drugs. And all of a sudden she's like, what? You're like holding out? Don't be stingy. Like, give me some. Like, dude, she's always got this like lip gloss on her. She's just so funny. So I recommend this movie. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10, maybe even a 9. It really holds up.
This is the era when Jesse Plemons was simply known as the fat Matt Damon, I believe.
Right. I completely forgot he was this character,
because everybody no one could ever remember his name back then. So everyone was like, he's that like Matt Damon, but fatter. Now he's like really buff now. So he's, you can't call him fat Matt Damon anymore.
Yeah.
Plus, this came out the same year as Paul Blart Mall Cop as well. So
right, they were twin movies. Yeah, the sister movies. Yeah, twins. That happens. Armageddon, Deep Impact, Ants and Bug Life.
Yeah.
Volcano, Dante's Peak, Observer Report, Paul Blart. This is way better than Paul Blart. Just like how The Prestige is way better than The Illusionist. Like they're not even. I don't even count them as twin movies because one is just so far superior. Like Dante's Peak, Volcano. You could probably go back and forth. Which one's more entertaining? Which one's funner? Which one's better?
Answer me a question here, right? Looking at this road, isn't this the same road where the gun battle in Heat is filmed?
Man, I wouldn't be surprised. The gun battle in Heat
in LA, right?
It takes place in Figueroa and LA. I don't think this might not be because Figueroa and LA is like kind of more like the downtown, the big skyscraper district, of LA. I don't think they're quite here yet. In this part of the movie, I don't think they're there. They're in a mall, so it's a little bit like outside of the city. Like, yeah, because Figueroa and Flower, where the Heat shootout takes place, that's like in the business district of LA. So there's much more like cold steel towers everywhere. But yeah,
I've been to I've been to that part of town. Back in the day.
Yeah, man. Heat's a great movie. In fact, I'll be talking about that on Wednesday on Paul Hadoken's channel and a few other monster movies. There's like 4 movies we're going to be discussing. So that'll be fun.
So 8 out of 10. Anyone else seen this one?
No, not seen this.
I keep
No.
meaning to. I keep meaning to.
Dude,
So
you
I-
guys have, dude, it's funnier than Superbad. It's funnier than Pineapple Express. It's better than, I mean, Pineapple Express was probably more violent, but not by much. I mean, this movie's like kind of dark. This is a dark comedy for sure. It is like I said, it's not you kind of lump all the Seth Rogen movies together, and then like kind of outside of that circle is Observe and Report. You know, it's not quite in the mold. In fact, it would be more fitting if this was a Danny McBride movie. If Danny McBride played this Seth Rogen character, that kind of would have been more like on brand with him. But no, this movie's twisted and funny and great. So yeah, you guys should watch it soon.
Funnily enough, I've just found the location of the shootout in Heat, so we can actually make a comparison. And you're right, I think this is elsewhere. But I was curious to when I went to LA last time, I made sure I went here. Oh, hang on, that's the same one. Somebody's fallen over upstairs. Let's do a massive like flood. Here you go. So this is
yeah,
Figueroa, and because this is the
Fifth
bridge.
Street.
This is the bridge they go under.
Yeah.
Right after they leave the bank, just as the wheels of the car get shot up, and the bank is actually right here. So this is the bank building, or it might be there. It's this section anyway. So Hannah and all his guys are coming up here. Yeah, so there you go. There's the Heat location. Clearly,
it doesn't look any different either than it did 30 years ago, unless there's a few changes there.
Yeah, don't know. So this is I'm not sure the name of this junction. What does that say on there?
It says it'll say on the actual road.
Yeah,
It's
Flower. There you
Street.
go. Flower and
yeah,
Flower and Figueroa. This Figueroa is what we're on right now. Yeah, this is where the kind of the roadblock with all the cop cars were and shit. Damn, man, that must have been like cool if you were working in like this office, let's say, and they were filming Heat. You would have had or any one of these, you would have had like a bird's eye view of like them filming the whole gun battle for a couple of days.
Shooting a robber down there.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. Cool place to be.
I think it was Andy McNabb who the author ex SAS soldier who was the armorer or weapons trainer on this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
It was. He trained them for a week to do that move and fire thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, apparently it's called leapfrogging. You just keep firing and moving forward.
Yeah,
but like Alan Partridge in season 1 of I'm Alan Partridge.
I was just, you know what? That just came when he's doing that talk.
Yeah. Double tap, hit the torso. She's going down again to the head. She's going down.
And wasn't it like Sue Lawley was supposed to turn up as a guest, but she didn't turn up, and it's so unprofessional. I do remember that. It's a shame I can't get that clip right now, but I get.
We watched a lot of his baby cows on YouTube as well. There's just so many good sketches. It's like the one show, isn't it? But with pure Alan Partridge with Alan Partridge's isms.
I mean that This Time series. I got to be honest. My favourite sections of This Time. Is when he's talking to the black reporter, the girl, and she evidently doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. She was amazing.
Yeah, I know that actress actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. And it's really great the way she plays that whole.
She's
I love
great.
the part where they're like she's like on a time delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the co-host starts talking to her like totally normally.
Yeah. That was a good show. I quite liked the whole premise of him accidentally having to take over from the guy who had a heart attack, and then it's sort of all coming out in the hashtag Me Too thing that guy had a bit of a dubious reputation, and Yeah,
And he has to sing "Candle in the Bloody Wind" as well while doing it. It's just, how can you not laugh your ass off?
Yeah.
It would be good to get an Alan Partridge reaction to the riots going on in the UK at the moment with him in character.
I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah,
he's going to be. I bet he's working on it. I bet he's working on it now.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, I think again 6 parts, 30 minutes. You can probably get it. Can you get it on BBC iPlayer still?
Yeah, it's available on the iPlayer, both season 1 and season 2.
Look at him edging just real close to his co-host as well, very awkwardly, because he's obviously trying to get in there.
Smilex says, I watched Who. His wins on Sunday. Good choice.
Yeah.
It felt incredibly partridgey.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that it's quite a conservative sort of film in a way.
Yeah.
Certainly has some political narratives in there.
Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, Ewan Lloyd was very.
He was
conservative.
He was very conservative, all about military action and people in their place.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, that was when Thatcher introduced the shoot-to-kill policy, wasn't it, in Northern Ireland?
It was, yeah, because you had the Rock of Gibraltar, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That documentary, I can't remember who it was. Maybe John Simpson documentary is available on YouTube, and it's I watched it again recently. Really interesting documentary.
It's very good. That's the one that got banned, isn't it?
Yeah, is it World in Action? Was it World in Action?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Death on the Rock, it was called. Death on the Rock.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Death on the Rock. Yeah, I think it's a World in Action special.
Yeah, it's really good, and there's a good 2-hour drama with I can't remember if it's not John Thor. It's one of the actors of his generation about the shoot-to-kill policy in Northern Ireland, and the head of Manchester Police was asked to investigate it.
Oh, that rings a bell.
There's a 2-hour drama about it. I think you can find it on YouTube. I'm trying to remember the actor that. I can picture him in my head, but I can't remember his name. But I know a couple of things he's been in, so I'll be able to look it up. And I think it was actually called Shoot to Kill, although not to be confused with the Steven Seagal movie. Yeah.
How the fuck did he ever become even make any fucking impact in the movie world? When he was young, he was shit.
Yeah.
At the time when he did Nico, that was kind of it was a bit different. There wasn't, because that got pretty good review. I remember Time Out giving it a good review, and I went to see it on the back of that. They were saying this guy's fresh, original. He's kind of bringing something a bit new. For Time Out to say that was a bit of a big deal back then. And
I think they were trying to tout him as a working class kind of street sort of guy.
It was packed out first opening night in Leicester Square. I was there. It was packed out. It was rammed.
They had Pam Grier and Henry Silver in it. They're the only two ones that are good in it.
Yeah, I remember coming out of it thinking it was all right. I mean, Under Siege and Under Siege 2 are probably his 2 best movies, in my opinion.
But he is a massive arse pipe.
He is a massive arse pipe. In fact, he's an even bigger noose pipe.
He used to play bass
I've heard
for
it from so many people. I've been told about 7 different Steven Seagal horror stories, and I've only been told one nice one.
Is she a hot chick?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Would that be the Pam Grier story?
No, it's the hot chick sniper who's in Under Siege 2.
Oh, right. Oh, I see. Yeah,
my friend.
Gotcha.
He was really nice to me. I don't know why you guys think he's such a dick.
That's basically what she told me.
Like
I mean,
Jim
look,
Carrey and Liar Liar. It's because you have huge jugs.
If that's her experience, that's fair enough. I mean, I'd had 2 friends that did movies with him, and it was like he basically constantly changed all the dialogue because he would never learn any. So he'd have idiot boards, and then they'd be trying to, of course, they were all professional British actors, so they would learn their lines. and then he wasn't giving them their cues. So one of my friends, I don't want to mention his name, but he was basically the co-lead in this or the second lead after Seagal. So we can improvise it if you want. How about we improvise it? So they did that, and then it was then he was like, Seagal agreed, and they said, "Why aren't you reading the lines from the script?" Well, because we just talked about that, and you just agreed to improvise. And it was like, oh yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that SNL episode they did was a bit of a warning sign, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the actor who played the policeman investigating the shoot to kill policy in Northern Ireland, and I'll get you the name of the drama in a minute, is the wonderful Jack Shepherd, who used to live just up the road from me.
Right.
When I lived in
I've
Highgate.
seen him in a film.
Yeah, he played. Was it Wycliffe or?
Oh
those,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think he also played Chamberlain, didn't he? In Eye of the Storm or something. Was it?
And he
Eye
was
of the
in.
Storm?
He was in Rebellion. But he's been in absolutely loads of stuff. Into the Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Into the
that's
Storm.
a
Yeah,
really,
it was the Eye of the
really
Storm.
good
Yeah, Into
Churchill.
the Storm. Yeah.
Really good Churchill movie. That's one of the best Churchill movies going.
Great soundtrack by Howard Goodall as well. Fantastic soundtrack by Howard Goodall.
So if I scroll down,
who wrote the Blackadder theme as well.
Yeah, if I scroll down into his 90s credits, I'm sure it was him, and it'll be here somewhere. I would think, unless I've got the wrong guy. But no, there you go. And it is called Shoot to Kill. There you go. He played John Stalker.
Shoot to Kill.
Yeah, so John Stalker.
Oh, right.
Was also,
okay. Yeah.
Remember, he used to present crime shows, and he always used to sell those awning things, being those adverts for awnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was it. Dramatized outline of the events leading up to the Stalker inquiry in 1980s Northern Ireland concerning the killing of suspected terrorists by. I mean, it's a really good drama. I watched it not that long ago, and he was basically set up to fail. He was sent in to investigate, and he said when they allocated him, he said, "I'm not interested in doing a whitewash. If they've been breaking the law, I'm going to report it." And that's a really young Darragh O'Malley. It says here. That's not him from Sharp, is it?
Oh my God! Yeah, I think
he looks way different. Way different. Must be a different actor. That could be Paul Daniels. The magician.
Does look like him, but
that's
not
Darragh
really.
O'Malley. So they credited that actor wrong. So he is in it.
Yeah.
So that other actor must be James Dugan. There you go. So that's him from Sharp. So that's on YouTube. So if anyone wants to check it out, Shoot to Kill on YouTube. Just put in brackets, not the one with Steven Seagal in it, and 1990. That'll get you there. Worth seeing. Inside Man. I know you've got another one.
I have Day of Anger, a spaghetti western starring Lee Van Cleef, and what a movie! And it has my all-time favorite title sequence as well, because I think I mentioned the other day, I'm quite big on my title sequences. I love the Maurice Binder and Danny Kleinman stuff.
We mentioned this last week, didn't we?
No, we were talking about it, I think, at the end of the Spartacus stream.
Oh yeah. No, we were. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's got a really beautiful title sequence and an amazing title song as well, rather title theme. So what the movie's about is, so you got this kind of street cleaner, if you like. This guy Scott Mary. He's the bastard son of a prostitute living in this town called Clifton, and nobody respects him. He's an absolute no one. He's a real sort of low life of the town. He stinks, and no one wants to go near him. But his mentor, who's a little bit of a low life as well, he's been helping him practice his drawing skills, drawing in as much as dueling, drawing a pistol. He doesn't own his own pistol yet, but this guy Talby comes to town, and his mentor and Talby have a little bit of history. and he tells him to stay away from him. But he befriends him, and he wants to be like him. He sees that he's got all this respect from others, even though it's respect through fear. And when he leaves town, he follows him. And when he follows him, he says, right, okay, I'm going to teach you all these different lessons in life, so that you can be like me. He gets to this other town, this guy who owes him $50,000. Won't tell you exactly what happens in that town, but it's pretty good. Comes back to Clifton, and he starts to train him in the art of sort of gunslinging. And this young lad, he starts to gain the respect again through fear of the locals. So Lee Van Cleef, or Talby, and Scott Mary, they pretty much rule the town. They pretty much run the town until his former mentor says, you've got to stay away from this guy. Seriously, he's a real wrong 'un. And he says, I've got something in a box for you. And it turns out that it's Doc Holliday's pistol, and it's kind of the sister pistol to the one that Talby's carrying. And they have a little bit of conflict between the pair of them, but I don't really want to sort of give too much away in terms of how it ends. But it's again another really, really good spaghetti western. And I just love these spaghetti westerns because it's the Italians generally do these amazing takes on what the modern western is. So we already had a series of westerns leading up to this from America. But it's just the way the Italians do it. Nobody ever does it the way the Italians do. I think they're wonderful, and it's a really good film. Really, really good film with a great soundtrack. But if you can find the title sequence, it's fucking brilliant. I love it.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd say an 8. Yeah, it's good. It's a good film.
I remember us talking about it at the end of the Spartacus stream on Sunday, and I the reason I know I've seen it is because I remember the special gun that he has.
Yeah.
And sort of looking through the stills. Who directed this one? Krista Linda, pretty attractive, typical Italian dusky look of the time. Tino Valeri. Let's have a look at what else he's done. So my dear killer. Okay, let's
I think he was. I think he was actually the DP on Fistful of Dollars and a Few Dollars More, if memory serves me correctly.
I remember when
it might have been a DOP.
I remember the Sicilian Connection.
Yeah, it's another one with an Ennio Morricone soundtrack. Really good soundtrack by Morricone.
Yeah,
actually.
I remember it. Not a bad movie either. It's
not bad at all. Yeah,
got some things, quite a bit of merit.
So it's pretty violent as well.
Was, writer, director, second unit director. I don't think he was a DOP. This guy.
Yeah, I seem to recall his name on the credits of Fistful of Dollars and a Few Dollars More. I thought it was a DOP, but might be mistaken.
No, he was an assistant director on For a Few Dollars More. And,
he was an AD.
He was an AD. He was an AD.
Right. Okay.
You were half right. You were halfway there.
Yeah.
So well, if only I could get that interesting title sequence in some
It's on YouTube.
We won't watch it all, but I love it.
Yeah, it's
Music's
great.
so badass.
Yeah, Tarantino nicked it for Django Unchained as well. The scenes
Well,
where
Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah, he used that for the training sequence. That
he did. Well, he
that
nicks
piece
a
of music,
lot
I
of
believe.
he nicks a lot of music off spaghetti westerns. Anything
he
that
loves
has Louis but Blackover and Neil Morricone.
I bet those titles, Inside Man, were done by the same guy who did the titles for the original. Oh God, the one that Tarantino remade, the World War II thing.
Oh, Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards. Yeah, it's got a very similar opening title sequence.
Yeah, yeah.
And I bet it's the same guy who did the titles.
It's possible. I mean, he does kind of grab these people whenever he can. You know, if they're still around.
Yeah.
You know, but that's again,
yeah.
that's the original of that is also a very good film. Inglourious Bastards, the Inglourious Bastards.
I have it. Yeah, I have it. I really like it.
Good film. Yeah.
I like the way that you can see where they're and how they're getting the most out of the money they've got. So it's a very interesting movie to watch from that perspective.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and that's what they do really, really well. I mean, whether it's a spaghetti western, or whether it's a giallo, or whether it is you know, one of the Crimi films, or Macaroni Combat, you know, they do use whatever money they've got as best they possibly can.
Who has seen the original Inglourious Bastards apart from me? Anyone else? Inside Man?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Stupenzo, Blue, Northern. Have you seen the original?
No, I have had a bit, but I haven't actually watched it.
I actually would. I'd say that it's a better action movie than Tarantino's.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because Tarantino's is more like it's sort of 3 set pieces basically.
Yeah.
I like Tarantino's
spaghetti. It is more like a spaghetti western World War II caper.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I mean, it's got some very cool action scenes in it. You know, one stuntman dies about 4 times in a row in 20 seconds.
Yeah, you got Fred Williamson as well. Okay.
Yeah, Bo Svensson, who was kind of like, you know, the sort of cheap alternative to Steve McQueen in the 70s. He kind of looks a bit like him, you know. And then you've got, was it Peter Hooton? This guy, he always played like Mad Guys. But yeah, it's sort of a mix between. It's like, I guess it was like the Dirty Dozen ripoff, really.
Yeah, it is. They did quite a few of those, didn't they? The Italians, you know, I mean, like I said before, the Dirty Heroes is one of them. Which almost rips off the entire title there.
I thought this shot was really effective in the movie, but it's a matte painting. From about sort of here-ish onwards, in the middle here. But it looks really good in the film.
Yeah, it does look good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff, all the stuff. Once they've got the mission to take over the train. I love all of that, especially with the slow motion shots of the grenades going through the windscreens and things like that. So it's definitely worth your time.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
It's funny because when I heard Tarantino was kind of doing his version of it, I expected a completely different film to what we got.
Yeah, I did. You know, I know that he's always been a fan of those kind of men on a mission thing, and I know Where Eagles Dare and Dirty Dozen are among his favorites. I thought it was really going to be, you know, a proper kind of men on a mission.
Yeah,
more like Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought we were going to get. With a big nod to the sort of Italian, you know, I thought there was going to be lots of very unrealistic but very fun machine gun fights.
Yeah.
But we kind of didn't get that. What we did get was some very good dialogue and some very good acting.
Yeah.
I never thought the film hung together really.
I think Northern was absolutely right. I mean, I actually think that Inglourious Bastards, Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, is more of a spaghetti western than it is a war movie.
Yeah, that's fair comment. And it's also Northern. It's got your name in the title. You could call yourself Inglorious Northern Bastard or Northern Inglorious Bastard. And we do a special stream on it. Inside Man, I forgot you're an extra. I forgot you're an extra on this one. Look, that's actually Enzo Castellari, who, to directed, I think, Bronx Warriors and Bronx Warriors 2, and I think he also directed this. And he was second unit director on The Humanoid.
Good name.
Yeah, he's one of those Italian B-movie directors that Tarantino loves. Someone's always wearing a scarf. That's how you differentiate between them. What would you give Day of Anger out of 10?
Easy an 8.
Okay, I'm going to watch that sometime this week, along with Observe.
There's also another really good one. As kind of it's although it's not quite a Django movie, even though they kind of build it as a Django movie. Its Italian title is Preparati la barra, which is Prepare a Coffin. That's also on YouTube. So if you just type in Django Prepare a Coffin, again another great title sequence and a brilliant title song. Absolutely brilliant title song.
I mean, I've seen this one. It's another one where he's carrying the big massive machine gun around again, isn't it? And shoots like lots and lots and lots of people.
Yeah. No need to reload.
No. Yeah. Reloading in Italian war movies is forbidden.
Yeah.
You can't break the unrealistic continuity.
No.
Yeah, and Terence Hill, he had a that was his like Western acting name. Didn't he also have an Italian name? This actor he looks like the $6 Million Man there in this poster. Looks like Steve Austin.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Terence Hill. Yeah. Okay. What would you give this one out of 10?
Yeah, again an 8. I just love it. Yeah, I do. I love them. I just can't get enough of them.
I know. I remember seeing this. When it was on TV.
There is one. I'm going to be watching tonight. I'm watching the 5-Man Army. Again, another great Ennio Morricone soundtrack, and this was the other one with Franco Nero. It's a Franco Nero one that I was going to watch.
Yeah, because he was the original Django, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh shit, what was it?
He's still alive, Franco Nero.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
it's like
he's
something
probably well into his 80s now, though.
Oh, I think he's like 90, over 90.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But 5-Man Army. This is an interesting.
It's a really good film. Yeah, this is kind of Men on a Mission. This is like one of the original 5 Men on a Mission. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Graves as well.
One of them's got a catapult.
Yeah.
So just in case, just in case you need it.
So I'll probably be doing this one for next week, and the One-Armed Swordsman is also on my list for next week as well.
Yeah, I'll have to watch this at some point. I take it the mission is to take over a train.
I can't tell you. I'd have to kill you.
Okay. Looks like it's worth seeing, especially from this still.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Probably my favourite Morricone score, actually, this one. 5-Man Army.
Has anybody got anything else they want to give a shout out to before we begin to wrap up? That 2 hours went by really fast.
Yeah, not as much because most of the films I watched was the X-Men movies for the stream, and that's about it.
Which X-Men movie was the general consensus was everyone's favourite?
Good question.
Because I have seen all the X-Men films, I think.
Yeah, we rated them all. We ranked them all, and I think the ones that were S tier were X-Men 2, Days of Future Past, Logan, and the original Deadpool. My favorite's X2.
I was about to say, Ento, my favorite has always been X2. Yeah. And I've got it signed by Patrick Stewart.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bryan Singer. I was like, oh god.
No, it's signed by Patrick Stewart, who I...
Cool. Yeah, I mean, rewatching them, we talked about it at great lengths. Yes, Sunday, obviously, but yeah, they they still hold up. And I know Marvel gets a lot of flack for the multiverse crap, but I mean, X-Men movies were doing it first, but those first two, yeah, maybe even the first 3 or 5, the other, the odd ones here and there, they got this great, they weren't like hyper realism like the Batman movies were going, the Nolan Batman trilogy was going for, but they tried to make them as realistic as possible. And I think the only real criticism I can give the first 2 X-Men movies is the influence of the Matrix kind of causing them to ditch the original costumes and the loud colors and, the bright individual costumes. I think that's like the biggest misstep of those first 2 movies, but they do have this great, like, they're dramatic, they're serious, but they do have like comic booky plots, which you want in a superhero movie usually. Not everything has to be, trying to be heat or whatever. But yeah, I think they're great. I think that's part 2 is just same thing with Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight compared to Batman Begins. Like the second one's always better because you get rid of all the getting to know all the heroes and learning their origins. X-Men 2's just got so much bang for the buck.
Great action sequences in X-Men 2.
Nightcrawler's assassination attempt of the president. Wolverine's berserker rage at the mansion.
That's my Patrick Stewart signed.
Ian McKellen escaping from the plastic prison with 3 little metal balls.
He signed that one. He signed that one as well. So I've got
great.
both signed by him. So
yeah, like I said, they ditched the loud yellow and blues and pinks and reds and all the cool colors for chrome, platinum, black leather, and that's fine, I guess. But yeah, X-Men 2 just still holds up. And Days of Future Past, they were trying to, I would argue that that's like maybe A or B tier, but it got put up on the S tier. Logan is also real S tier, but it's too dark, too depressing to want to revisit regularly. It's very gory. It's not for everybody. And Deadpool, the first Deadpool, yeah, that one's S tier, but it's the plot's pretty paper thin, which is a good thing, really. But compared to X2, like there's just so much going on in a good way with X2. It's great.
I always thought it was a bit nihilistic. Sorry, I always thought it was a bit nihilistic of Logan to just end after Days of Future Past, where they've saved all the mutants, they brought the ones that got killed off in the third one, and they all die anyway.
Yeah, they definitely Alien 3'd everyone off screen.
Yeah, that's why I prefer to watch it as a standalone movie. Like maybe the other X-Men movies were movies within movies, and Logan is the reality, and it was that inspired those movies, but it wasn't as optimistic as the movies made it out to be.
I don't think I said this on the stream, but when I watched Logan again with Mom, I think that was only the second or third time I had seen the movie. And of course, it's still really
Logan
great.
Since,
but
I had not watched
yeah,
Logan
it's one of those movies.
No.
Yeah, you watch it when it comes out, you're like, that was really good. You want to watch it again? Not really. It's sad.
Anyone? Anything else? Anyone?
Yeah, we'll watch that 10.5-hour X-Men stream. We watched a bunch of stuff. We went over toy commercials and Carl's Jr. tie-ins, and we discussed a lot. we went over a whole lot. So,
well, it was a 10-hour stream, so you're gonna fit a few things in there. My recommendation for this week is I'm almost at the end of season 3 of the Mayor of Kingston. We're gonna do a Chew the Fat special just on this show at some point. Probably not this year. It might be towards the end of the year. I don't want to do it episode by episode or anything like that, but I do want to do a overview of it. For me, this is not the best Taylor Sheridan show, but a very, very good, solid, well acted show, and I like the aesthetic of it because it's this Pennsylvanian town that's basically runs on the prison industry, and anyone who's had a brush with the prison industry will understand that it is a business. It's really got quite, not a lot to do with law and order and courts and things. Although obviously some people that are going in there now will probably disagree. But Our man Jeremy Renner plays Mike McCluskey. He's kind of a fixer between people in the prison, people in the law, various different gangs. He's trying to keep the peace in the town. The town itself attracts a lot of criminality, various factions fighting throughout. And season 1, his brother is killed. It's not a spoiler. It happens in the first 2 minutes. And season 1 is very much about him trying to sort of track down who killed his brother and why. His mother's played by the actress Diane Wiest. She gets quite a lot of screen time. Very good character for her. And I would say seasons 2 and 3 are more action focused. I've got 2 episodes left of season 3. I really rate it. Overall, I give the show a solid 8.5.
Where can we see that? Where can we see that?
Paramount Plus original.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or Showtime. But yeah, it's good. It's worth your time. Season 1, a little bit slow. So I would say give it at least 4 episodes of season 1. And then if you're not into the characters by then, maybe it's not for you. But it's, if you imagine the Shawshank Redemption set now, and you made a show about the people that worked in and around the Shawshank prison rather than set in the prison itself, this would be that. So to give you an idea of kind of what it's like. But I really like it because it's kind of original. It's, you know, the characters are different. Mike McCluskey's kind of, he's an ex-con. He's not a policeman, but he has huge influence within the police. He's friends with a lot of police. The characters are all very complex. I think there could the female characters in it could be, especially in season 3, could be a bit more. We could have more of them. But I suppose the realistic side of it is it's, you know, we're mainly dealing with the male prison. There's a female prison storyline in season 3, but we're mainly dealing with a female prison. So it's you know, in gangs. So it's quite a male driven narrative. So that's not a criticism. I'd just like to see some other characters to color it up a bit, make the tapestry a bit richer. But yeah, good show. You've seen it, right, Blue?
Yeah, the current season, I watched the first 3 and it's got backed up. But yeah, the first 2 seasons are great, and just glad Jeremy Renner came back after what happened to him. But this season, when I watched the first 3 episodes, I was loving it.
Renner's acting in it like, you know, I don't know if he's on painkillers or what. It's like nothing happened to him. I mean, I know that accident was really serious.
I finished short before the accident, though, the Fed series.
Yeah, he did say for season 3, definitely he had to take like a lot more breaks. Obviously, he's still, you know, coming off that injury.
Right.
But he said, you know, season 3, no stunt double. It's all him entire season. So I was like, no, good on him, man.
Yeah, no, and he takes a few hits here and there. Anyone else seen it? Americans?
Yeah, I watched it. It's a good show. Great show.
Where are you up to on it?
I've just finished season 2. I've not watched series 3 yet, and so I'll try and get through that as much as I can.
Season 3 is it's hardcore, and I'm already kind of placing my bets on who I think is going to survive, and there's a certain female character that I just don't think is going to live.
Does that redhead lass actually improve in the first series? Because she was a total idiot in that second series. She just got saved by Jeremy Renner from all these people that were abusing her and drugging her and that. And then what happens? She ends up going back to them. She's a good actress, actually. I wasn't sure about her at first, but yeah, good actress, but badly written character. I mean, I
like what they do with her in season 3. I mean, she's damaged goods at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Very much so. But yeah, you know, well, anyway, you watch it, you'll see. All right. Well, that's 2 hours. We're going to get into what's coming up next. I have got not 1, but 2 interviews tomorrow at 10 p.m. UK time. I've got the lovely Lawrence Monason coming on, and here he is. And he's been in various TV shows and movies. There's a few of them there. He had a pretty solid career for about 20 years. Then he took a break. His career he did a different sort of choice of career. He's edging back into acting now slowly. Got a pretty interesting story to tell. I have a feeling it's going to be quite an emotional interview. But had a long chat with him offline. Really lovely guy. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. Earlier in the evening, I'm actually talking to the guy who designed the game that I've been playing on my channel, the Hex of Steel World War II game.
Awesome.
So the designer of that game, who's a guy called Valentin, who's from Valentin Studios, 25, man, designed his own game and put it up on Steam. Man, I wish I had that sort of talent. Just quite, take my hat off to him. Anyway, I asked him if he'd come on. He will. He's not going to come on camera, but it'll be an off-camera interview. But yeah, looking forward to him coming on and talking to me about, the woes of designing a World War II game. He's also got a big Discord forum for the game and a whole lot of other things. So that one is before the Lawrence interview. That's earlier in the evening. That's at 7 o'clock. So probably go for about an hour or so on that one. So two interviews tomorrow. I'm trying to hit that 100 mark by 2025. And I think that's going to make those two will bring it up to interview 73. And of course, we have the wonderful Gail Ann Hurd coming in September next month on the 25th. So really looking forward to that. And I'm going to try and hit 5,000 subs before Gail Ann Hurd comes on. Slowly creeping up to 4,000 now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Gary Bolter, I have to see this. That's Gary's reaction to the intro for Day of Anger, clearly. So yeah, Gary Bando Sandwich. Just watched Crime Story. Jackie Chan, great film.
Nice.
Yeah, Crime Story 2 I think is a slightly better movie actually. If I remember, I've rented those both out from the video store. They were quite big video rentals, those Crime Story films, weren't they?
Mm.
Yeah, remember the big displays in the shop for them. Because anything with Jackie Chan, and they were the ones that always had all the outtakes of everybody walking away with broken arms and legs and being carried off in ambulances and shit.
Yeah, I mean, he had some really quite serious accidents, didn't he?
Yeah.
Making it sound some, couple that nearly killed him.
Yeah.
Plus, it does make the danger on film look real as well, because when he's doing these stunts, you still feel the danger of the character as well as the actor performing the stunts.
That's a show I'd like to do. The films of Jackie Chan, but particularly his early stuff. I really would. Yeah, that would be fun.
Very, very good autobiography that came out last year called I Am Jackie Chan. Wow, what an insight into this amazing man. I mean, just incredible. An incredible man. From his childhood and, how he kind of left his family home when he was 6 or 7 years old to train in Chinese opera. And how he was highly disciplined up until he was about 18. So he was there for about, over 10 years. So around about 12 years.
The craziest stuff about Jackie Chan was all of his, he had all these female stalkers and stuff. And that's why in all of his movies, he's not allowed. He didn't have any romances in any of his movies, like his characters, because he would have women show up to his residence and try to kill themselves because he kissed a woman in a movie.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Insane.
I've never heard that before, but that, I mean, that
it was like a reoccurring thing, these women were crazy for him. He also had eyelid surgery to make himself look less Asian, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
That's terrible. I mean, he still looks the same, doesn't he? always looked like
yeah,
Jackie Chan to me.
Right. It's not like to look not Asian, but just to look less Asian. It was a common thing with like Chinese and Japanese actors trying to transition to Hollywood. I don't know, and this is like in the 70s or 80s or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was looking to see if there was anything about this online. And man, this must be the first story I've read on Yahoo for bloody ages. But here is like Jackie Chan reveals he once tried to attack a director with a knife for insulting his mother. Yeah, so and he didn't name the director, but yeah, well, man, that's justifiable, isn't it?
but I didn't know until I got the book that it was actually in Fists of Fury.
Oh,
yeah, he's one of the stuntmen,
Yeah.
and who gets his ass kicked by Bruce Lee. I think.
Yeah,
it's
I
these-
didn't realize.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because he definitely. Yeah, because I knew he'd met Bruce Lee. That because I think Bruce Lee inspire him to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he was. He said Bruce Lee was, incredibly kind, and I think there was a scene where he actually did hit him. He did make contact with him, and he came over and said, are you okay? And he said, I was so overawed by Bruce Lee coming over and talking to me. He said, I couldn't speak.
Get this man a doctor. He's injured.
Yeah. It's probably more because he was winded that he couldn't speak, I should imagine.
Okay, so yeah, we're not reviewing anything tomorrow. I've got the 2 interviews. Obviously, Monday nights now we're done with House of Dragons. So just to let people know, on Monday nights I'm going to be going back to doing my Lone Wolf stream. It won't be every week, but I will be doing some of my gaming stuff on Monday night. But I'm also available to do other pop on other channels. So if people have stuff going on, you want me to come on, let me know, because there won't be a permanent fixture for Mondays at the moment. But I will probably end up streaming if I'm in and not doing anything. So Sunday nights we're still pressing on with Spartacus. Can't wait to hear Inside Man's favourite scenes and lines of dialogue this week.
I have to be honest with you. Right, I've got to be honest. I kind of hit a little bit of a turning point with episodes 5 and 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll say nothing until Sunday.
Yeah, no. Keep us in suspense. Maybe History Bro will be with you. Who knows? It probably felt that way after you watched the other show. It was like, oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah,
I forgot how good it was.
Yes, yeah, it was. I think it may have been.
Stupenzolicious, my good buddy. What you got coming up? What can we plug?
Tomorrow, me and Sammy Threepeat watched the worst X-Men movie of all time. It's a made-for-TV bomb called Generation X from 1996. It was very bad. We had a great time watching it. It's very funny. And then later to Wednesday night around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be on Paul Hadouken's channel to talk about several. We're picking 4 mobster / crime movies.
Oh, yeah.
The movies that we got picked were, and I don't think Paul's seen any of them, were Heat, Godfather, 21 Jump Street. I think you saw that one. And then the one I picked was Donnie Brasco.
Damn, I mean, that's 3 really good choices there. Can't believe he's not seen any of these movies.
I wanted to pick Goodfellas, but I figured that was too on the nose, too obvious. It's too much everyone's top choice usually. And there's already 2 3-hour movies in the bunch, so I didn't want to add another third one. So yeah, I picked Donnie Brasco instead because I feel like it doesn't get enough love. That'll be
a director's cut of Heat, right? That I've seen that's screened recently. Does anybody know the difference between the director's cut and the regular cut?
No, I've only seen one version of Heat.
That's interesting.
I've only seen one version of Heat 1,000 times.
It's such a good film, man.
I know.
I play the Atmos track for Heat on repeat sometimes when I'm working, you know.
Yeah, it's almost hypnotic, that movie as well. The way they play that music, that soothing music, and the way they shoot LA as well, especially at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, LA is very much a character in the film. That's what I really like about it. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend Heat 2, the book which Michael Mann actually wrote, and it's set right after it picks up right where the movie ends, but it's got 2 timelines. So
yeah, Adam Driver's going to be playing the young.
Right,
Pacino
I heard
role.
that. I heard that. He's a good choice actually for young De Niro, I think.
But who's playing the older Al Pacino? Because we can't have Al Pacino now. He's in his bloody 80s. He's still, and it's supposed to be set. It's like 2 timelines, isn't it? Where one is the prequel and one is set just not too long after the first.
It's literally picks up the day after where the movie ends. They're trying to track down Val Kilmer's character before he leaves, and then Val.
So they have
Kilmer's
to do a lot of recasting as well, because we can't have Val Kilmer back on there. He's got like throat cancer. He's not as young looking as he used to be.
There is the director's definitive edition of Heat. It's on Amazon, 2-disc Blu-ray set. I don't know what's different about it, and I've always wondered. But yeah, one of my favorite films of all time.
I have a feeling it's going to be very bloated, the director's cut. You know, the original is great already as it is.
I don't know. There's probably only something like 2 minutes extra. It's just a way of getting more money out of people for about another 90 seconds of footage. That's typical.
Yeah, I always find these director's cuts, these extra scenes and everything that gets put in or restored. I think they're more of a curiosity than anything else. I really do. When I saw the Alien director's cut, I was so disappointed. I managed to get tickets. I was sent some tickets by Fox for the screening of it. The screening. This
is Alien, the first film.
Alien, the first film.
Where they've got you get the shot of Dallas. Like
I mean,
you didn't need it.
I mean, Ridley Scott was at the back of the cinema, and what's his name? Danny Boyle was presenting it on stage.
Right.
And he was talking about Alien being his favorite movie and how it was the one movie that inspired him and everything. And I can't wait to see all these additional pieces of footage that have finally been restored. And they should never have taken them out. I sat there with my brother, watching this thing. I thought, I don't fucking like it. I don't like. Give me back my old film. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't like this version.
It dispelled some of the kind of the myth about the alien and.
Yeah,
the fact that you kind of never knew what happened to Dallas was kind of part of the horror, really.
Yeah, and also there was that scene, when they come out of seeing Ash, I think they're talking about taking off, and Ripley starts questioning Dallas about the origins of Ash. I don't know this guy. Do you know Ash? Have you ever shipped out with Ash before? And he says something to the effect of. I shipped out previously with another science officer. They replaced him 3 days before we left Thedas with Ash.
Yeah, that's in the original.
That's in the original. That was completely cut from the director's cut. Yeah, totally cut.
No, I like that scene. That scene.
Yeah, and I thought that that gave you something. That actually gave you something. Gave you a little bit of information about the character of Ash and. Why he's, everyone's suspecting that he's a little bit odd, or at least Ripley suspecting that he's a bit odd. But I'm just not keen on director's cuts. I suppose the only exception there really is Blade Runner for me.
Well, I like it's not a director's cut, but I like Alien Special Edition because I love the scenes with the sentry guns. And I like the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven. That is a massively superior movie.
Yeah, no, with Aliens, it was a completely different story because we all know that all of that footage was taken out purely to get extra asses on seats.
Yeah, it was running time basically.
Yeah, that was the original. Obviously, as we know, the original cut that was supposed to have gone into theaters, and because also, as you well know, and I've said it quite a few times, when I first saw Aliens, I didn't like it. I just didn't like it, and then the full cut came out, and I thought, "Fuck yeah!" Now it makes sense. Now it there are things in there that make sense. It felt like there was something, I don't know, something quite not right about it.
Enzo, this is the thing you've just watched, right?
Yeah, it was bad. They basically watched Batman Forever, which had come out previously, and just tried to do that. This guy is doing the most awful Jim Carrey impression throughout the whole movie. It's a sight to behold, and you will watch it tomorrow with me and Sammy at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, or anytime after that, really. But yeah. And yeah, a few hodgepodge of random mutants, some new, some random. The only actress I recognize, this lady playing Jubilee. I was like, who is this girl? Where do I know her from? It's like, oh, she's the older sister from Stay Tuned with John Ritter, where he gets sucked into the TV.
I remember that film.
That's her voice.
The Jim Carrey, like, he's been on a few. He's in Watchmen. He's in Star Trek. He's like
Matt Frewer. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Matt Frewer.
Max Headroom. Max Headroom. He was in Dawn of the Dead remake. He's in Lawnmower Man 2. He's the neighbor in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah. Russell's dad. Russell.
He's also in Miami Vice. I think he was in an episode of Miami Vice as well.
I quote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids all the time when someone's mowing their lawn or something on Saturday. I'm like, Zelensky, give it a rest. It's Saturday.
He's also the guy who killed Batman in Batman the Animated Series. Remember that episode? Sid the Squid. Yeah. Very funny character. Very funny character.
He's in a lot of stuff.
That movie was actually directed by Jack Shoulder, and I was thinking I know that name. And he directed what I think is a great film, The Hidden, 1987.
Oh yeah,
that is a good movie.
It is, really good.
I mean,
film.
the movie looks very loud and 90s. It's a lot, like I said, very. I imagine the 20th Century Fox producers had a lot to do with it, but they were like, Batman Forever and The Mask. Like, just do that. Just try to make it look and feel like that. And yeah,
this guy also directed Arachnid.
Oh, that movie is I'm thinking of a different one.
There's quite a few giant spider movies, but I do remember this one actually when it came out.
Arachnid.
You can tell it looks like a film of quality.
Every school kid knows arachnids are dangerous.
It's coming from another world to stay. Okay. Alex Reed, not Alex Reed that dated Katie Price, is it? Okay. All right. Anyone else? Northern or Blue? You got anything?
No.
All good. Northern's ready for bed. Okay, that's our cue to wrap up. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. I nearly didn't make this stream tonight, so really glad that I was able to do it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. Do support my co-host channels if you can. Check out the content, and don't forget to put 25th of September in the diary for Gail Ann Hurd coming on the channel. And of course, I've got 2 interviews tomorrow. So until then, I'll catch you tomorrow at 7 p.m.